Yes, so we're back on the SportsMax Zone for this Friday, and we are picking up now where we left off with the Thursday show in that exclusive interview with the husband of double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Herah, as he continues to explain the reason behind the separation with interim coach Shanikie Osbourne. On Thursday, he disclosed that Osbourne was requesting a compensation package of close to $1 million. Let's
continue that conversation. Where did the conversation go from there when Miss Osbourne's agent, manager, the mediator, Damir Russell, requested that figure?
Well, I mean, at this point, when I was just trying to confirm that we were on the same page, and I was seeing what I was seeing. So I like I said, I asked him if he do know that is the 15% of what figure. He said he knows exactly what he sent. So at that point, I was like, I don't think I can have this conversation with you right now, because we are night and day apart in terms of getting to an agreement. I then called Elaine and tried to explain to her what happened. So they were engaged in a phone conversation after that. That is Elaine and Mr. Russell. Obviously that didn't go well. And then I texted Miss Osbourne. I called her first, didn't get her. I didn't get her till maybe in the evening, maybe a couple hours, not a couple, about 10 or so hours later. And I was explaining to her, I was really coming in there and I was explaining to her that I admire her as a coach, and the person that she puts in charge of negotiating her finances doesn't seem to know much about track and field. And this wouldn't be good for her going forward. But then she started to explain to me why, and she trusted him and such and such and such. So at that point, we were still in training. So this was like, the weekend, Sunday, yeah. And then we went to another week of training, almost a week. Thursday night, the Thursday was our anniversary, and we went away from home and came back in the evening, and then I trained the Friday morning. Yeah. So before training, I normally go and pick up some of the guys close by, and then Elaine would drive by herself. And on my way out, Elaine called and said she got a text that was maybe 1 a.m. So obviously wouldn't have seen it until in the morning that she had withdrawn our service because we couldn't come to an agreement. And so that was the situation. So I immediately went into solution mode, trying to get to the next best option.
Yeah, before you get there, Derron, because looking at a story from SportsMax.tv that came out on Thursday, the headline suggesting that Miss Osbourne suggesting that there was still room for negotiation, but you are suggesting here that she slammed the door shut. Is that what you got from that message?
Pretty
that
much,
came
because
at 1 a.m.?
Okay, as a coach, if you care any about an athlete, you would understand that the athlete cannot miss days in training, right? You basically said that you are withdrawing your service until. So basically, I don't want to start a system of her in one system. This is a year for her to do something that is unthinkable. And you don't see this in how many lifetimes? This is the first time in forever, ever, right? Only the great Usain had done something like this on the men's side. So to be even mentioned to do something, for a possibility of doing something like that, I think she has to have the best possible opportunity to do it within the situation. So at this point, if everything at this point, I am now seeing that everything is really about money. They are not saying it, but it really is about that. Because I explained that we basically cannot put out a figure because that would be a breach. And no contract. You have a person outside of who was at the table. You show them that's not in this world of track and field, so we just cannot do that. So basically we're trying to work around that. They, based on my understanding, it seemed like they had a figure that they were working with, and they even brought different information in terms of where they got their information from, and it became uncomfortable.
Yeah,
the situation became uncomfortable.
How do you suspect, Derron, that they would have come up with what seems like such a ridiculous figure, which is way outside what is market value for coaches' services, especially given in situations like this specifically?
Well, I have no idea, but sometimes the media plays a role, because you hear talks about this mega contract and this mega deals, and it says a whole bunch of assumptions, and so I guess, and then, like I said, they were in dialogue with other parties that they mentioned, so like I said, at that point it became uncomfortable. So that it basically that other persons were being brought into the situation, and it is a private situation, so basically, and the fact that you just basically pull the plug on an athlete, that definitely there you have scarred the relationship there in a way that, you have to have a situation where everybody gets along and it is smooth sailing. So that after that, then I didn't see where we could go and mend it. Yeah. So I basically, moved forward. I have to move forward quickly. Like I said, I wanted to give Elaine the best possible chance in terms of you have to have, you see the times that are out there and you see what the possibilities are. You see what you're up against. So basically, you have to get close to your best or better than your best. So you have to have a better situation. So I basically moved quickly. So I was kind of surprised when all this came out, because I didn't thought that was, it's just that it didn't work out. It didn't work out, and it was a situation where it was almost like a stick up that didn't work. So that's the way it came out. But then today I saw just names just there, and it's a lot of negative vibe, and it is. So you look past stuff. You can look past it, because I look past it, but at the end of the day, like, people may just say stuff loosely, and you don't really understand the impact that it has on a person, especially for athletes. It is damaging. It is damaging. It's when you want to compete at the highest level. Every little small, minute thing, it becomes a factor. You have to try to be as strong as possible. But at the same time, it is just consistent. The same thing happens over and over in the media, and then it just seems like people form their own opinion. And most of the stuff that comes out are not true, are just misinformation.
Yeah, after the break, which is coming up now, we will conclude our three-part exclusive interview conducted Thursday evening with Derron Herah, husband of double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Herah. Back in a moment. This is the Friday edition of the SportsMax Zone, and we're continuing with our exclusive interview conducted on Thursday evening with the husband of double Olympic sprint champion Elaine Thompson-Herah. Derron Herah has been talking to us about the highly publicized story that led to the separation between Thompson-Herah and her coach Shanikie Osbourne, who had taken over the coaching duties with her last summer. And here is part 3 now of this interview with Derron Herah.
One of the things, Derron, is that, and I think Shanikie Osbourne said it as well, that she thought she had an agreement with Elaine Thompson-Herah, and it was your intervention that essentially changed Elaine's mind. That Elaine had agreed to the 15% that she was asking for.
Elaine could have, no, I mean, just by agreeing to 15%, you would have breached. And then, remember, Elaine's contracts were already there. She would have achieved what she did without Shanikie.
But so why would Shanikie think that Elaine had agreed to this, though?
I mean, I have no idea, because at the end of the, I was at the house when they went in the office and met. I was there. So when at the end of the meeting, we were still trying to figure out what would be a comfortable figure to propose. Yeah. So I don't understand why she would have thought that Elaine was agreeing. So, and basically, I mean, Elaine makes her own decision. Basically, if normally she's not brought into situations like this, she instructs what she's comfortable with, and I try to get it as close as possible to what it is, if not that. So, but in her role, she basically has to just train, try to stay healthy, and try to perform as best as possible. So there's no athlete that is their own management. So she's involved in whatever happens, because she is the leader of the ship in that sense, basically. So whatever she's comfortable with would have happened, but that was just impossible.
Yeah, and you know, Derron, there are those who would say that given the way Elaine ended the season after Coach Osbourne came into the picture, that, you know, you should have done everything within your power to ensure that this relationship worked. When you sit back and you look at it, do you believe that you did everything you could have done to make this relationship work?
Well, okay, so I did. Listen, I facilitated everything. We have every possible piece of equipment you could think of, highly invested in stuff like that. In terms of medical stuff, she gets the best. Miss Osbourne doesn't know nothing about the medical situation, the equipments, nothing other than coming to our location to train and basically guide Elaine. Like I said, her contract, basically, what I proposed basically was, listen, moving forward, this was pre-existing. Moving forward, you would basically earn what you get, pretty much, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, based on the situation that Elaine is in right now, is a unique situation. We are very confident and comfortable. You know, at this point, I now believe that maybe it happened for the best. So no, I mean, we are very comfortable now, moving forward, and we are.
Does that mean you have found another camp? Does that mean you've found another coach? Does that mean you're going to be coaching her going forward? I mean,
I'm definitely not going to be coaching her. That's definitely not what the situation is. But I'm just making sure that the next situation is pretty much final and everything is smooth before we proceed. But yeah, I think, I mean, like I said, everything happens for a reason. if X didn't happen, then Y could never be possible. So it's just the situation that we are in now. I think I strongly believe it's a better situation. Yeah. No.
It sounds as if you've already identified a coach or a camp or whatever the situation might be.
Pretty much, we have, like I said, we are just doing our due diligence to make sure everything is smoothly done, and when we start, there's no hiccups or no going back or no type of issue. It's just everything smoothly forward.
Okay.
So I mean, like I said, I came on just because the kind of year it is, the opportunity that she has put herself, she has given herself based on the double-double, and now putting herself in a position to go for a triple-double. I don't see what is there that we wouldn't do to make that possible, and I give her a fair shot at that. The situation, when you really look at it, if someone has your best interest, then that situation wouldn't have came about.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, it may have happened for a reason, and I really believe in that. I pray a lot about certain things, and I just believe in timing, and maybe it's just the perfect timing for this situation.
So question, how is Elaine doing after everything? You know, what has she been up to? What's her spirits like?
Well, I mean, Elaine is upbeat. Like we have done a lot of investing in terms of trying to figure out what causes the injury issues, and what she should do more of or what she should do less of. Just information to present to whatever coach we are working with, because at the end of the day, that is really the root of her issues. Is really to have her stay in training and not be able to miss training session, or to miss less, because I mean, athletes they will miss sessions, but not 3 months. That is ridiculous. So that she's been upbeat, and she is very, very positive in going forward. So that's why I just wanted to make this situation go by as quickly as possible so we can get back to the road to Paris, pretty much.
And with the team that you have now decided to employ, who we don't know who they are as yet, do you think Elaine will be back to the best, the one that we saw breaking all those records, manifesting all these Olympic awards? Do you think she'll be there?
Well, I mean, sometimes, like I said, when something happens, and at first because I was highly disappointed about the situation. Like I basically was, I at the end of it, when I look back, I realized that I may have been forcing the situation a little bit too much. Like I said, I was trying to get this done since September of 2022. It's all here. It's right there. I've been trying to get that done, and it didn't happen. But now it's like you get this energy, this positive vibe about something like, okay, we have mutual goals. Just conversation. You found out that someone has been on the outside and basically having the same goal as us here on the inside. So I just think it's the best situation possible right now.
Yeah, that's Derron Herah there. He's the husband of the Jamaican double-double Olympic sprint champion, Elaine Thompson-Herah, talking about the highly publicized separation between Thompson-Herah and her interim coach, Shanikie Osbourne. That interview, exclusive on SportsMax Thursday evening, was triggered by a SportsMax.tv story from Shanikie Osbourne that suggested that a press release issued by Thompson-Herah's management team the evening before was littered with lies. So Derron Herah wanted to publicly address some of the comments made by Shanikie Osbourne in that SportsMax.tv story. which of course was written by our track and field ace writer, Leighton Levy, who joins us after the break to talk about this story. Back in a moment.